All right, hello again, everybody. This is Mr. Everything, and I am back at you with another Wargaming Wednesday. Welcome to this stream. I hope you're going to have a happy Halloween coming up in a couple of days. But I've got a lot to discuss today. Excuse me, that's the coffee coming out of me. I got the not hiccups, but like burps, I guess what you would call them. Okay, so welcome to the stream. This is a weekly stream. We stream around lunchtime, 11 to 1-ish Central Time. You can watch this live on YouTube later. And there's some news about that as well as we get closer to the end of the stream. I'm going to be talking about other media sources for my store and for myself. So, and my projects and stuff like that. So stick around to the end, or if you want, just fast forward to the end. You know, I'll probably put some kind of, because I actually have an agenda today, I might actually put chapters on YouTube so that if you watch this later, you'll be able to fast forward to the chapter or the topic that you're wanting to, or let me rephrase that. You might fast forward to the topic that you find the most interesting, or maybe that's why you've returned to this video. Okay, so if you have never been to a Wargaming Wednesday, what we do is we spend a couple hours out of my day talking about projects that I'm working on. We talk about miniature figures, news that I know about, and techniques, and maybe I get a little work done. But usually I don't get any work done. We just talk about work that I'm about to do, and then I do it afterwards. Because, to be honest with you, I find that filming... Okay, when I'm painting, let's say painting a figure, if I'm filming it, I'm having to dedicate a little bit of my time to ensure that things are in frame. I have to make sure that I'm conversing with the audience, and then I have to go back and edit it and you know, make it a viable product for YouTube. Where when I do it here today, we're not going to do any of that. And so, because when I'm off camera, I just paint, boom, 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 and I get them done like super quick. But when I'm videotaping it, it seems like it takes forever. Okay, so I know this is out of order, but we did get our cameras repositioned. I have a tripod here that you can't see. It's off camera. Luckily, that's part of the goal, was to be able to get a tripod out of frame, this frame, so that we could get some close-up video of some of the work that I'm doing. This is the Brio, right? This is the Brio, and I just recently learned that you can put it on a tripod. Well, over this week or so, I've been struggling with the tripod. The tripod that I own has a neck that, you know, the threaded neck that sticks way out. And the Brio has a little hole. So when you screw it in, it's not all the way down on the neck, you know, and so the camera would wobble around or move or twist. So what I did was I took... This is what I did, see? This is what I did. Okay, I do have it over here. Okay, I thought I might have gotten rid of them. I cut out a few of these foam strips, right? And I put them on the tripod, and so when I put the camera down on the tripod, this foam gave it a little bit of extra contact with the tripod so that the camera wouldn't wobble and move around. Okay, we got that out of the way. That is done. All right. We're not going to do anything with these figures right here, these Napoleonic figures. I've got 3 battalions of line infantry. I'm getting ready to do the second line, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd battalion of second line. The command figures are front rank, and all the other guys are Warlord Games. And I put them on popsicle sticks like I normally do, but as you notice, normally I do 4 figures, basically a stand on a popsicle stick. Well, in this case, I decided I was going to put 6 figures on a stick, meaning there would be less sticks on the table. So 4 sticks would be my battalion of 24 figures. Okay, now you might also notice that they're not primed black like I normally do. I have been priming black, or sometimes I'll be priming the primary colors. So let's say a Jaeger unit, I might prime with Hunter Green. That way I don't have to worry about brush strokes or anything else on the Hunter Green. Black is a little hard to cover when it comes to the lighter colors like yellow and red. So not that there's a whole lot of yellow and red on a French unit, but there are some epaulettes, there are some collars and cuffs. There's the drum. There's a few things that are yellow and red. But this is more of an experiment than a definitive technique. So what I did was I painted them with ivory silk. Ivory silk and sweet peach. The sweet peach looked darker than the ivory silk. So what I did was even though it's satin and this is matte, I went ahead and painted them or primed them with the ivory silk. My understanding is from a color point of view is my reds and greens and yellows, all these lighter colors should be more vibrant, right? And the flesh should go on ivory with no problem at all, right? I might not even need to paint flesh, but I'm going to anyway. And then like my khaki trench coats, or even if I go with grays or blacks, everything should work on the ivory. Well, now when I painted the ivory silk, it came out kind of dark, almost like it was reversed. Like the ivory silk was a lot darker than the sweet peach. I thought sweet peach would be darker. So I hesitated on using this, even though it was matte, and I wanted it matte. So I did something that is not something I normally do. I zenithal primed them. I took the sweet peach and I sprayed it on these guys over here. Right? I sprayed it on these guys. You can see that these guys look almost white. And then I realized sweet peach was actually a lot lighter color than the ivory. Ivory was more of a yellow, a pinkish yellow. So I went back over the 2 units that I did with ivory and the 3rd unit, and I hit them with sweet peach kind of from an upper angle, basically giving them a zenithal prime kind of thing. When I say zenithal, that's a Games Workshop term. where you take normally a black primer and then you spray the top of the figure white, so that when you're painting the figure, the closer to the top of the figure will be brighter, more vibrant, and the lower the figure will be darker. I think zenithal priming is a ridiculous technique. I think it's stupid. I don't subscribe to that technique. I think that your lighting in the room will automatically make your figures darker on the bottom. And if you wanted your figures darker on the bottom, then use a different color. Zenithal priming is so random. It's so hit or miss, because you're taking your black primer and you're ruining it by putting a white primer on the top of it. So I don't subscribe to that. Okay, so let me put these paints and these figures away, and then we'll get into the next thing I want to discuss. So let's pull these figures off of here. I think they should all fit on this board. Over the next week or so, these will be fun to paint. All right, so the next thing, well, here, let me get a drink. I'm already starting to get chapped. Okay. I think it was that coffee dried me out. I've got a couple of things that I want to do today. As you see here, I got a few GAR models right here. These are these GAR battle unit. I'm going to be painting them with a darker gray, a necromancer cloak, but this is a test, because I'm going to be using matte fluid medium on one of them. I'm going to be using the flow and additive on another one, and then I'm going to be using the matte medium on the third. And we're going to see what kind of results I get from each of these different flow additives or mediums, to so that I can evaluate which ones I want to use for different projects in the future going forward. Okay, so we're going to do that here. That's going to be one of the later things. Right now, I wanted to... Yeah, we'll pull that out. This is something that I haven't done. I haven't cleaned these, for one thing. I need to clean. I probably should have cleaned these. Well, I washed them with soap and water. We've already done that, but I haven't taken my X-Acto knife and trimmed them, which we'll do here in just a moment. Let me swap glasses out. I gotta put my painting glasses on. Let's get that out of the way. Okay, so the reason why I've yeah, I'll put that there. The reason why I've got these guys out is not because I was in any hurry to assemble these or put these together, because I'm not in any hurry. My 100 Years War stuff, that's what most of these are. And there are some Romans in here as well. But I wanted to test out Gorilla Super Glue. I've never used it. I've been using DAP Rapid Fuse, which dries in or sets in 30 seconds, and this says 10 seconds. And it says it bonds plastic and metal and more, of course. And this says only 1 drop per square inch. Okay, well, that's fine. Apply a small amount of Gorilla Glue to only 1 drop per square inch. Set time can vary. Excess glue can cause delayed bond. Press the surfaces together between 10 and 45 seconds. They gave themselves an out. After using, clean the nozzle. Okay, and store any dry place. Okay, one of the reasons, one of the tests is not just its adherence, but its storability. I know that's weird to want to test that, but because I had bought 2 bottles of DAP Rapid Fuse. It came as a 2-pack. And I already had a third, and I've been using the third for a long, long time. And when I finally got to one of those 2, they had thickened up so much that they became kind of like a gel, and it was extremely hard to get it out of the bottle. Like, I would be struggling to get the glue out of the bottle. So I had resorted back to some of my older glues, like my Gorilla. I have this. Okay, here, hold on. I have this Gorilla Clear Grip, and it works great. It works fine. It's just a little messy. So I thought I would experiment and try out this Gorilla Glue. Now, before we start gluing anything, really I wanted to, honestly, all these other pieces are kind of just extras. I kind of wanted to test it out on this guy and his standard, this Roman guy with his standard, this guy with his shield, and maybe a sword, and then I don't know if I'm gonna do the Henry V and his standard bearer. But the main goal, okay, here's some swords and shields. They can go up to the side. They're not going to be used. The main thing was this wagon, because it's multiple parts. It's kind of fiddly. And that axle is just like way too big, right? That's why I got these out. Okay. Pulled the trash can over here so that I could go over the model and clean I could probably put a sword in his hand. So I could clean these models. Now this is a front rank wagon. Okay. Get my metal snippers here. My model snippers, I should call them. Because these are my heavy-duty metal snippers. Okay, this doesn't really have a lot of flash on it. That's very nice. Some of this will be off camera. Again. because when I cut it, I want the extra pewter that I cut off to fall into the trash can and not on the table. It's just one less step. Instead of having it fall on the table and then brushing it into the trash can, why not just have it fall into the trash can? Okay, these wheels are actually doing good. I'm not seeing a lot of flash. And I did wash them last night, but that doesn't remove flash. Okay, that's got a hole in it. Half of this you probably can't see, but there we go. Sorry about that. Hey, if you guys got any questions or you have any comments or suggestions, or if you just want to say hi, you can put it in the chat and I'll read those words of encouragement. Okay, so we're going to mix this up a little bit while I'm putting this together. Okay, and it looks like all that's good. While I'm putting this together, I want to let you know, whoa, that is that much. Okay. So they're probably the same. Yep. Okay. Okay, I'm measuring this axle. Okay, going to cut it. It doesn't want to cut, of course, because this material that Front Rank uses for their flagpoles and axles is like stainless steel, and these snippers don't want to cut it. So once I get a little bit of a cut, I'll go to trying to bend it so the metal will break from multiple bends. Okay. Ah, there it goes. Okay, so this is not the axle. I've got a little box over here on my table that has all these extra little spear pieces and pieces of metal that I've come off. Because sometimes when I do big models, I want to pin things like wings or big dragon arms or whatever. And I like to use these metal rods as the pin because it's so sturdy. All right, so here we go with the initial test of the Gorilla Glue. Okay, there it comes. Way easier than that DAP Rapid Fuse. Not normally DAP is like the best in my opinion, but when it hardened up, it became hard to use. Okay, now I just use my needle nose to pinch this. Not a necessary step, just a desired one. Okay. Okay, we're going to let that dry for no time. Okay. Getting water in my eyes. I'm crying. Okay, I don't know why. It's not the glue. Okay, I'm going to take this Roman Cynifer. Now, this Roman is actually from Gripping Beast. That's a Gripping Beast Roman with his whipping pole. Okay, there is no flash on this. I might have already cleaned these actually, but I don't remember doing that. And then it's going to go in his hand. So let's do a little bit of glue action. Okay, it's thick enough that it's not runny. That was one reason why I liked DAP, because it wasn't runny at all. Okay, so we're going to sit here and we're just going to hold this for 15-20 seconds. Let's count. 1, 2, 3. I could actually look at the clock, but nah. Okay, I went with 15 seconds. It's stuck, but it's not fully dry, I could tell. So we're going to let that sit a minute or two off to the side. Okay, we're going to take one of these shields. Now I understand that Gripping Beast has some shield transfers that are made by Little Big Men. I might have to get some of those. But I don't really plan to do a lot of late war Romans. I prefer the Republican Romans. Or Caesarian, you know, the Republic. Caesar's Romans, not later period Romans. Okay. Now, how do I want to do that? I want to turn it so that he could see over his shield. Okay. Okay, now a lot of times you'll like put the glue and make sure it's on both sides, you know, like, and then let it kind of just dry in the air, not connected, and then connect it. But that's not necessary. That's not part of this test. Nope. Okay. Let's hold it a little bit longer. 30 seconds. 30 seconds did very well. Okay. So we'll set that guy there just for a minute. Okay. Let's put some wheels on these guys. Why don't we? We'll do both sides. And yes, I'm putting more than a drop per square inch. Okay. Now, luckily, I've got an ox figure that I haven't been using. So I'll be able to use with this guy. Okay, so we're going to let these wheels dry before we start putting on the sides. Henry V, I am. And a standard bearer. It doesn't have to be his standard bearer. It could be any standard bearer. Yeah, I'm not going to do those. Not today. Okay. So this officer, gripping beast, Roman. Looks pretty cool. I'm digging him. Okay, doesn't have a sword in his hand, but lo and behold, they provide you with 2 swords. One for him and one for him. Little bit of glue. This might have been a situation for the Gorilla Glue. Not that Gorilla. The grip glue or whatever it is. It's because it's more of a thick paste like gel or whatever. Okay. This is hard. Because there's not enough to grab. Hey, I was going to say there's not enough to grab onto. I guess that's why I have tweezers, huh? But it's spinning in my tweezer hand. Okay, there we go. Yeah, see what I mean? See, what I want to do is like use my fingernail, get underneath it, and push it up into the hand. But there's not enough to get under there to do that. Well, It sounded like it went in this bag, but we know it didn't. All right, let's try this again. Nope, let's not try it on him. Let's try it on this guy. He might actually have a better way to grip his sword. Actually, this guy could be carrying a spear. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to put a spear in that guy's hand. But this guy is going to be carrying a sword. Okay, there we go. It's got to look good. Got to be perfect. Okay. Oh my lord. Those swords are so fiddly. Even the tweezers can't hold on to them. I just did it twice in a row. Once you start putting it in there, tweezers start sliding off of it. This is the worst. Okay, it took a second. I mean, after a couple of failed attempts, I finally got that sword in there. Wow, he's horrible. Now, this guy could have, they provide you with enough shields that if I wanted to put a shield over this arm or whatever, I could. Or I could leave it like just exposed arm. And I'm going to have the leader with just an exposed arm. I like the model looking like that. Okay. Yeah, I could put a spear in that. The way this hand is and the way the model is made, a spear could go in that hand. I'm going to do that instead. And then there's the musician, but he doesn't need anything. And these guys aren't going to go anywhere. One of them could be a wagon driver, wagon rider. We'll see if, well, that looks like he'll be sitting on the ox. This guy too, and then these guys would be walking next to it. So I could have 4 wagon riders. Okay. These look like they glue on the side because they've got a couple of holes here. Yeah, the second hole is way out there. So, and this has its own, so I bet it goes something like that. Same on this side. And then this looks like it would go right down inside there. So let's do that one first. I couldn't see. All right, Gorilla, do me right. Okay, now it doesn't look like there's an inside or an outside. Okay, that looks good. Okay, let's bend that while before I put it together. There we go. I wanted to straighten the yolks out. Okay, so I'm putting these together for sword point. Sword point, not Hail Caesar. Sword point is a rule set that I'm excited to get in and learn. But it's going to be a minute. Oh, okay, hang on. This side, okay. Once I glue this in, it'll just rest. Oh, perfect. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so let's do that. Let's put a little bit of glue there, put a little glue there, and there, and maybe a little bit along here, and we'll see what happens. Okay, I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, that stuck like as soon as I put it on there. It was like, okay, we're done. It stuck. Okay, I want to put that kind of at a, I guess I don't need to. It's stuck. I didn't want to put this side on, right? Because then I wouldn't be able to get this piece into it because it'd be closed basically. So I have to do the back first, and then put this final side on once this back is on. And again, there's no front or back. Yeah, and once I put, is there like an angle? Okay, maybe I could bend the pewter a little bit. There we go. No, I don't like that. Okay. I'm going to trim this just a little bit. There we go. Because it wasn't going in all the way, it was kind of sticking out. Okay, where's the hole? That side doesn't want to go in. That side has no problem going in. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm taking this bottom wood plate and I'm kind of bending it down to give a slight backward lean to the frame, so that when it's in, it kind of leans backwards a little bit. Oh, that looks good. Okay, so let's glue this bitch. Yeah, so we're going to touch on another topic while I'm doing this. Gripping Beast. Yeah, I applied for trade partnership with them to become a retailer of their products, right? FYI, that was a no-go. And the reason why, they said they only do business with brick and mortar stores. And as you know, I'm no longer a brick and mortar, online only. And so they said, no, they can't do business with me. But that's not going to stop me from ordering from them, because I think they have good products, like these Romans and those box sets that I've got. Yeah, so I think they have good product. So I'm going to continue to order from them. I'm just not going to be able to translate that discount, like a wholesale discount, to you guys. So if I get some of these figures in that I'm going to sell, they might be at a slightly increased price. But I'm not getting them in to sell. I'm getting them in for myself. So you don't have anything to worry about there. But if I do wind up selling some of them or something, then you can expect it not to be retail. But I don't plan to get them in and then just sell them. I am planning on getting them in and just selling them, but the primary reason for getting them in is to assemble them and paint them and sell them as painted figures. So that's a thing. Okay, that wagon looks good. And that glue is working out really good for me. I'm kind of happy. Well, you can't see that. Yeah, I'm happy about that. Let me get my okay, where did I put you? Yep, that's it. Okay, so I bought this wagon a while back. This is a Sarissa Precision wagon, and it looks really good. I'm very pleased with it. Very pleased with the look of it. I've never painted it or anything because I didn't think I really needed to paint it. And there's an ox that I got from Front Rank a long time ago with a yoke on it, and it looks like that's going to rest pretty good on that yoke. You know, if I have to spread this, and I'll have to look to see exactly how it's supposed to rest. If it's supposed to be on the side or if it's supposed to be under it. It's probably supposed to be under it because of the weight that might be in the wagon. and then I'll have like a wagon drivers, you know, whipping it into shape or whatever. So yeah, so I think that's, and that glue, okay, we're gonna put this glue a little bit to the test, not terribly, because I understand it's not fully cured, but okay, those wheels are on pretty tight. That back is not, but then again, that's okay. That side is definitely on. That front. Okay, yeah, the back, I can see the super glue hasn't dried yet. It's shiny in the back there. So, all right, let's put that off to the side. Now, what about this guy? This guy was the first one I did, right? Still a little bit of a shine in there. Yeah, you see how that moves a little bit? Normally, when it comes to something in a hand like that, I'll take a pair of pliers and I will close the grip, like the thumb around the hand. Yeah, so that hasn't dried yet. Okay, so it sticks in 10 to 15 seconds. Fill line. Okay, whatever. Let me read some details on this. Protect work area, blah, blah, blah. 10 to 45 seconds. Store away. Press surfaces together for 10 to 45 seconds after using. It doesn't say fully cured. Huh. That shield's on there. That sword is on there. I don't want to take it and go, because, you know, you could, no matter how hard the glue is, you could easily just peel it off. Okay, and I'm not gluing these guys on today. Okay. If you didn't know, this is the bowl I usually use when cleaning miniatures with soap and water. Okay, close the glue up, move all that off to the side. Move this off to the side. Ooh, I got an upset stomach. It's probably that coffee. The coffee that I am drinking is it's Maxwell House. Let me see. It looks like a Maxwell House. Instant. It's instant Maxwell House mocha. So it's got like chocolate mixed in, and it just doesn't taste right. There's something about it, just not happy with it. Normally I love Maxwell House. That's my favorite brand, but not that. Okay, so let's take a look at my agenda. Test Gorilla Glue. Did it. The Gorilla Super Glue works good. I like it. Okay. Gripping Bees, trade partner. Talked about that. No brick and mortar. Okay. Oh, what am I doing with this out? I guess you guys can hear that, right? Sounds like a lawnmower outside. Yeah, somebody's mowing the lawn. Okay. Let's go ahead and discuss these guys. I basically, these are fairly large models, you know, which is good. And I already had them. They're already primed white. But if I mess anything up, I can go back and clean it up and fix these. And these aren't part of my current project or anything. I was pretty big into the Gates of Antares. I had purchased quite a bit, some starter sets, plural, and some box sets, plural, and some specialty characters and templates, because these guys have their own specific templates for shields and stuff like that. And then after I got all the models, I just basically lost interest. I assembled some models, including these, and then it just kind of, I think what was kind of weighing on my head was I watched a video about a year ago where Warlord Games said they were going to be coming out with a second edition. And as soon as they said that, the minute they said that, it was like my heart just went, ugh, damn. So I'm sitting there waiting for the second edition to emerge. And when it does, I'll already have a bunch of models, and hopefully they'll still be usable, right? That's my fear, is some of the models aren't going to be usable. But also, sci-fi games it's not my jam, right? It used to be. I played Warhammer 40K a lot. You know, I played Striker, I played Star Grunt, but it just isn't really, it's not really my jam. But because the rules are supposed to be very much like Bolt Action, I thought I would get into it, and I kind of did. It's got a great lore, but I don't know. It's just something about it. Alright guys, so I marked the back of each of these. I don't know if you can hear me now. Let me move my microphone just a little bit closer to where I'm at, because you can hear the guys next door. This one has an F on it. I don't know if you can see that. This one has a FA, and this one has an M. So this one is going to be the medium. This is going to be the flow and additive, and this one is going to be just the flow. And I'm going to be using a dark gray. I thought about using like a blue or a red or even a light gray, but I figured that if I'm going to test these, I want to have something that's going to really stand out, something that's really going to distinguish itself. I didn't want to go too dark, you know, like dark gray, right? So I went with Necromancer because that would be like a black almost. And the Gar, my Gar army, if I was to paint for myself, was not going to be just white, right? They do a lot of white, but I was going to go with something more like a military Panzer gray kind of thing, like a gray army. And so here's my first leap into that. Now, because these are going to be, that's a little stiff. I was hoping to go with something soft. That's pretty soft. That's a 3. Okay. What about this guy? That's softer. Yep. I think we're going to go with this. You can see there is no detail. No detail at all on that brush, right? It's just completely, this is a wash brush. Normally I wash with that. Okay, so I've got my palette, Got a number of palettes, but ignore that spot. Okay. That is Wash and Elmer's. Okay, so I don't know which. I've never used any of these before, so this is an experiment for me. I even went. These are all the brand is Liquitex. I even went to the Liquitex website for techniques or what do you call it? Suggestions on how to use and stuff. And all their suggestions are with canvas paints, right? And so none of it really helped. Okay, so this is the matte medium. And I've noticed that on all of them, it says 25%, no more than 25% of your Liquitex for your to your paint. And then you can also even add water, right? Which I normally do. That's what I've been doing in the past, is I've been taking my paint, thinning it down with water, sometimes like 50%, even though that's like super thin. This says it creates a matte finish and it extends the color. And then it says directions for acrylic colors. This is acrylic. Can thin with up to 25% water or with an airbrush medium. Add gloss medium for a satin finish. Okay, I don't want to add gloss. Compatible with all Liquitex. Okay, so it says you can add as much of this as you want. But if you want to add water, you can. Okay. This is medium. This is medium. This is fluid. This is fluid and additive. Okay. Fluid additive, medium. Okay. Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. If I remember right, it says don't shake, stir. Stir, not shaken. This one doesn't say that. It also says it can be used as a coating for a collage. So like if you, okay, yeah, that's nice. So that if you have like you put a puzzle together, you could brush this over it to treat it kind of like a matte finish and a glue. Okay, that's interesting. Has a very subtle odor, not something crazy. Okay, and what I'm trying to do, as a lot of you know, contrast paints have become the new hotness. Everybody's getting into the contrast paints, and I think contrast paints have a purpose and a place, but not for everything. I think a contrast paint on this model, or you can't see it, on this model would be a great thing. But there's contrast paints like on my British or my Napoleonic French. No, I don't think contrast paints should go on those. But like maybe a tank, maybe superheroes or dragons, absolutely. But not some historicals, maybe, but not usually. Oh, I'm shaking it again. Let's go ahead and shake this. Shake, shake, shake. So what I'm going to do now is kind of go in a semicircle around from this spot so that I don't get them mixed up. That makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. How much of this paint am I going to need on this? I'm going to say not much because I'm adding an additive. Okay, that was like 4 thick drops. Okay, now this has got a giant stopper hole, so I don't know what that sound is. It sounds like explosions outside. I'm not squeezing, I'm just going to let it drop. It's kind of thick. That's good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's 50-50, right? 50-50. Seems too thick. Yep. I put 2 drops because those drops were about half the size of all the other drops. Okay, it still feels like it's going to coat the model and it's going to be gray. Okay, this is just a matte medium. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So right now it's 2-to-1. Matte medium to gray. Yeah, I just think this gray paint is just still just gray paint. Yeah, well, this is not a flow. This is a medium. So mediums are supposed to extend your paint to be able to cover more area without losing any of its transparency. So my guess is on this paint job, it's going to be completely gray. That's kind of what I'm gathering. So here we go. Let's get this out of the way. Okay, maybe not. Maybe it's got a little bit of transparency to it. I guess we'll see. And again, remember, this is and I am just completely coating it. This is a 2 medium with the 25% water. So if you're doing a scale, and I think I mixed maybe a little bit too much, but that's okay. 2 drops of paint or 4 drops of paint, you know, come on. Okay. This might be just a little too thick, like I said. But we'll see once it dries, right? Whoa, that's the final test. Let's make sure that everything gets coated. Okay, behind the legs. There we go. Behind the weapon, I was noticing. Okay, now this is clumped down there. So I want to just kind of give it a little bit of a downward assistance for the extra paint, the clumpy paint. Okay, so we're going to set this one off to the side and let it just kind of ruminate. You can kind of see how, kind of what the appearance looks. That's with double medium and 25% water. Now we're going to do the flow and additive last, because this one's going to take a little bit of extra care. So I'm going to switch places with the matte fluid medium. Okay, and I got like twice as much of this one because I'm guessing this is what I'm going to need. This is what I was hoping for. That is working, but it looks like it's clumpy because that mixture still was really thick. It was still really a paint consistency. A couple of drops of this would have been just great to spread the life of the gray paint. But I went heavy because I was trying to make a contrast paint. Okay, we're going to skip a couple of spots. Yeah, let me put this model over there. I probably could put it right on top of the thing. Hang on. Right on top of the medium. Let's do that. There we go. Okay. Now this one's done a little bit differently. It says mediums to prepare, adjust, and protect your work. It's colorless acrylic. Mix with color to thin and add transparency, or use it on a collage adhesive. It'll give an archival matte finish. So this says it adds transparency. Okay. Let us begin. Again, 4 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's Necromancer Cloak, if you were curious. Okay. And this probably has a thing I got to take off. Yep, it does. Again, this is all an experiment Now, once I determine what the results of my experiment are, I'll go back and I'm going to make a video, a tutorial on how to use whichever product is the best on making my own contrast paints. Okay. This also doesn't say 25% or anything like that. It doesn't even mention anything about water. Yeah. So let's do about the same. And I think this might be more of a liquid. Nope, it's pretty thick. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to stir it just to kind of get a feel for it. Still kind of thick. Yep. Let's do it again. Whoops. 1, 2. And that's dripping down the side. Okay. Still very thick. I'm going to do it even though it doesn't say anything. Adding water to thin it out. Okay, now we've got like a thin... Okay, it's thin now. And this is the flow, not with the flow additive. Okay, here we go. I kind of chose these GAR models mainly because I knew they had a lot of like recessed areas and a lot of like flat plates, and that'll help me determine like if it's going to be a smooth paint job or if it's going to pool on flat plates. I don't want it to pool on flat plates. I want it to run off of the flat plates and pool in all the recesses. You know, like a wash, but also like a contrast paint, if that makes sense. Because to me, a contrast paint is kind of like a very thick wash. It's a wash that doesn't run off of everything. Okay, this is doing good. I'm pleasantly not surprised, but I'm pleased. Not pleasantly. I guess I'm pleased with the results of this. This is the same mixture, right? It's double the medium plus water. Okay, double the medium plus water. Ooh, get you in the camera. I'm going to put it off to the side and we're going to see how that dries. Okay, now this last one is flow additive. Flow and additive. And you see I brought a little cup. This says, I wrote it on the top so I wouldn't mess up. But it says for acrylic colors, always dilute with water before mixing with color. 1 part flow aid to 20 parts water. So this is like a concentrate. Don't add more than 25% by volume with, yeah, so don't add more than 25% of this to whatever paint you're using. That's kind of what I'm understanding. It says enhances flow of diluted color. Yeah, it's going to be diluted color because I'm adding 25% or 20 parts water. Okay. And that's what I'm going to mix here. And then from this, I'm going to drop it into there. That's the plan anyway. And then maybe in the future, I'll pre-mix this or something for any projects. Okay, now this top is like sealed on there. It doesn't want to come out. Okay, there we go. Okay. I need an eyedropper. Like I, and then doop, doop, doop. I don't have that. So I have to kind of guess. Okay. Okay, it does mention, okay, it's got a lot of bubbles in there. I don't know if you can see that. There's bubbles. It does mention not to shake it, but to stir it, like I said earlier, and let it sit for a minute to let the bubbles dissipate. Now, I am going to do 4 drops of this. That's easily divisible by 25%. Oh, dang. Oh, what an idiot. I'm stupid. This thing's got a little... I'm stupid. Just, don't blame me. I'm stupid. Okay, and then I'll take this mixture and I'll put a drop in there. Okay. So it's mostly water, some additive, flow additive, and some paint. And that is very thin, like if I was to thin paint down a lot. Okay, so let's try it. Flow additive, here we go. Okay, you're getting kind of a washy look. That's good. I'm creating my own washes. And it's running. That's good. Like running down into all the little cracks and crevices. Now with the mediums, that was extending or trying to extend the paint coverage, where this doesn't appear to be doing that. This appears to be creating the effect I was looking for. a very light gray. Okay, okay. I could have added a little bit more gray paint to it, maybe, if I was wanting more gray paint coverage. I think we found a winner here. Flow and additive. And I barely used any of it. That's gonna go a long way, being that it's a concentrate. Okay, I'm gonna put it on heavy. Just I'm trying to fight its effectiveness. Basically, I'm trying to make it fail by putting all of it on. Okay, we're going to let that sit. And that's got a pretty good look to it. So we're going to set that off to the side. And we're going to let it dry. Oh, it's dripping off of the model onto the bottle. I probably should do something like this. Or no, not even that. Put it there. Okay, so we're going to let that sit for a minute and dry. More than a minute. Whatever our remaining time is. 30 minutes? Okay, my glasses. Yeah, we got about 30 minutes left. Okay, so we're going to let these guys... That's definitely pooling at the bottom. You can see how it's running off of it. I want to see what that looks like when it's dry. These other ones look pretty good too. They have different effects to them. Not much. These two are very subtle differences, but that one's a very striking difference. Plus, it takes a little bit more effort making this concoction. And it wasn't measured very properly because I didn't use the dropper that was on the top. I poured it out. And then from this, I actually poured it into there. So what I need to do is maybe get some Army Painter or Vallejo or whoever, get some of these bottles that are empty and make my own. That's what I think I'm going to do. Because I think you can get like a bag of like 10 of these for like $1 or something. So we'll figure that out. Okay, so I got the liquid text on there. That is ongoing. So we'll just push that off to the side. Okay, I got 3 more topics that I want to talk about. And I think I glazed over a couple of them anyway. So guys, here, let me do this. Okay, so we got that guy. That would be additive. Right, and then we got this guy, which is just the matte medium. And then we got back, there we go, this guy, which is the fluid medium. Okay, so while we watch these dry, we watch paint dry. I just thought I'd put them out there so you can see. But while we watch those dry, I'm going to, we're going to talk about my Napoleonic project. You guys know that I have a project running right now, my Waterloo project. I've been updating you every couple of days on the figures that I'm doing. Plus, we did. I just showed you that I got the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd Battalion of the 2nd Line. It's part of Soy's Brigade. I'm going to go ahead and do those. And I said something like keeping you guys all up to date. I take one project, like one set of figures at a time, and then I'll intermix it with a couple of projects for my store. And then I'll back and forth. So like I'll do a couple of things for the store, and then I'll do something for myself. And then I'll do a couple of things for the store, and then I'll do a couple of things or something for myself. And that's working out really good. And okay, so that's what I'm doing next. But I do have a commission work that I need to jump on as well. Some Hungarians, and I have some Hungarians over there. It's a lot more figures than I was anticipating. I thought he was going to be sending me like 2 squads, and then I was going to get the other squads to fill out his platoon. But what he wound up sending me was command elements, airborne, Honlev, mortars, bunch of stuff. And that's good. That's great. I'm going to gladly paint it all for this guy. It's just more than I was anticipating. So I have to contact him and let him know that I got it all. And I don't know if he wants me to paint it all at one time, which might take me about 2 weeks, paint it all and then send it out, or to paint a little bit at a time and send it out. Because by painting a little bit at a time and sending it out, it makes him being able to pay for it, pay for my work, easier on him. But if he wants it all at once, that's fine. And so I just need to contact him and let him know. Okay. But what my point was, I got kind of on a sidetrack there, is that my Waterloo project, I've noticed I pulled up the army lists that I'm going to use for Hougoumont, and I pulled up the army lists that I'm going to use for the center and also for the far right, which is where the Prussians are going to be. I pretty much have all the French that I'm going to need. Almost. I should say almost. There's like 12 more battalions that I got to do with French. After those 3, it'll be down to just maybe 8 or something like that, 9 or 8. Plus a couple of cavalry battalions. I think I added those in as well. So right about 12 battalions. Some dragoons I think I got to do, plus those guys, plus a few more lights and line here and there. But once I get those done, I'll have almost all the French I'll need for all the different battles, with a few exceptions, just a few. And on the Allied side, I've got about 12 battalions that I've got to finish for the Allied Quatre Bras. And then once I do that, I'll have 90% of everything I need for all the other battles, except for some cavalry. I'm going to need a lot more cavalry for the Allied at Waterloo than I did at Quatre Bras. So I'll be doing a lot of cavalry. But but I'm going to slow down that project is what I'm getting at. The project is not coming to a close, but it's coming to a climax where I've almost got enough to do one of the tables. And then all I'll need to do is tweak it for the additional tables. So I plan to, because I enjoy painting Napoleonics quite a bit, that I don't want to outpace myself. I don't want to paint so much and then not paint any. So I want there to always be some Napoleonics to paint. So once I get, I'm just going to continue painting my Napoleonics. That's not a problem because there's always more. But now I'm going to squeeze in, I'm going to horn or shoehorn in 2 additional projects. So basically, I'm going to have 3 projects running all at the same time. So basically, I'm going to alternate my Napoleonics with my Ancients, with my 100 Years' War, with my Napoleonics, Ancients, 100 Years' War. Because I plan to do a Burgundian force for the 100 Years' War. And I plan to do a Republican Roman force for the 100 Years, not 100 Years' War, for Ancients. Now, in the past, I had been using Hail Caesar, and don't get me wrong, I love Hail Caesar. Hail Caesar is a great game, but I find that it's good for battles like Gaugamela or Hanai, or big ancient battles. Hail Caesar is good for. But when it comes to the smaller battles, the mid, I'm going to call them mid-range, grand tactical, not your strategic battles. That's what Hail Caesar is for. And not tactical battles, because I would consider that to be like an SPQR battle, but a grand tactical. Something that still uses blocks of men, but not millions of them. Kind of like the difference between a Napoleonic battle and an American War of Independence battle. Napoleonic battles were 50, 100,000 men, where American War of Independence was tens of thousands of men. And so the 100 Years battles were not hundreds of thousands of men, like a Hail Caesar battle, like a Gaugamela or something. So I've been kind of perusing the universe, and I saw a clash of like sword and spear, and clash of spears, and armadi, and there's a bunch of even Field of Glory. I even tried those rules. They just don't do what I want them to do. Like Field of Glory is just strictly tournament. It's very much like a war game research group game. Your DBM or DBA. And I don't want that. I don't want a DBA game. I don't want a historical game. I don't want something that is designed where the armies are perfectly matched, where you could bring an army to a tournament and you could win or you could lose based on your strategy and tactics. There's a place for that, and that type of game is fun. Don't get me wrong. It's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a game that I could getting away from that tournament scale. It's the scale of the game. I don't want Well, first of all, I don't think I want to do 15 millimeter. I want to do 28 millimeters, but I also don't want to have Hail Caesar scale battles, you know, where you got armies all the way across the battle. So I found a rule set called Sword Point. It's by Gripping Beast. It's really what kind of got me into the Gripping Beast figure line. Let's back up a little bit. Front Rank sold or is in the process of selling, so their orders have stopped, but they're in the process of selling to Gripping Beast. Gripping Beast is going to sell Front Rank miniatures, basically extending their range of models, which is great. And that caused me to go over to Gripping Beast and open an account because I want to continue to purchase Front Rank models. And I noticed that they have this rule set, Sword Point. Didn't hear of it before, didn't really know anything about it. So what I did was I started doing a little bit of research. And I noticed there's not a lot of people out there doing, like Holy Diver did a couple of battles. Medieval Wargamer's done a couple of like tutorial videos explaining why he likes the rules and stuff. So it's kind of like I'm not getting the full rundown of the entire game, right? So I decided I'm going to order the game. I ordered the rules. I ordered the medieval expansion, which is for like 100 Years' War, Agincourt, and all that. I ordered the Dark Ages, I think. I ordered maybe not the Dark Ages, but I ordered the classical period, which is Rome, Hannibal, the Germanics, Republican Romans. But I also ordered the End of the Earth or something like that. It's the expansion for the Greeks, basically, the Persians and the Greeks, which I love the Macedonians and all that. So I ordered all these expansions for Sword Point. They're all fairly inexpensive. My understanding is that it's not filled full of fluff and hyperbole and non-rules related topics. Everything in the book is the rules. And so I kind of like that. I think I'm going to like that. So I understand they got some pictures of some models and stuff in there. You got to put that in there. But yeah, so I'm digging that. Now, I pulled up a video that somebody did. I think it was Medieval Wargamer. And he was doing a flip through of the rules. And he got to a page that had basing. Figures per base sizes, how many bases can be in a unit, etc. It's on this chart. And I did a screenshot, right? I took a screenshot because I wanted to know, you know. And it's mostly 40 by 40, which is what I base Hail Caesar on anyway, right? 4 figures on a 40 by 40. Great. But not all units are based that way. Some units are based 3 figures. Some units are based 2 figures. Some units are 100 millimeters wide per base. Because that's supposed to be like them skirmishing. Some of them are open order. Some are closed order. So I need to get the rules. Not just the rules. I need to get those expansions so I know how many bases are supposed to be in a unit, and also know how big those bases are and how many figures per base, etc., so that I can start working on those projects. So as soon as I get those rules in, which I'm expecting them by the end of the week, but because by next Tuesday, maybe by next Tuesday, because if I remember right, if you order on Friday, they come in on the following Tuesday. Well, that's what my last order did. So I'm kind of anticipating that this week as well. But we'll see. We'll see how fast it comes. And it might come faster because it's only rule books. But that's not true. I ordered a few miniatures. But, okay. So that's the Gripping Beast. I've got Gripping Beast order in. I've got all those rules coming in. And when they come in, I'm going to look at the Burgundian army. And I'm going to start building a Burgundian army. And I noticed there's not a lot of people out there with Burgundian flags. Luckily, I've got some Burgundian flags from back in the day. I really want to do a Burgundian unit. I was a Burgundian in the SCA a long time ago. I don't do the SCA anymore, but okay. And then and then the Republican Romans. I'm excited, and I want to know how to base them, and also I know that there are other people out there that base their own way, and they base the way they want to do it, which I'm okay with that, because most likely I'm going to be the one providing all the armies anyway. I'm going to be providing the Romans against the Gallic or whatever. And so if I base them however I want to base them, then it's going to be fair because my entire army is based that way. But what if I take my army and I go to a larger event where other people want to learn how to play, or they have armies and they want to compete against me or something like that, and my armies are not based according to the rules, then there's going to be discussions or whatever. And so I don't want... So basically I'm going to try to stick to the rules as close to possible. And that's why I want to get the rules in. If I have to take some of my Romans that are on the shelf and rebase them, I will. Luckily, they're almost all on magnets, and I could just... And they're 20 millimeters across, so there should be no problem. And once I make some movement trays for them, there should also be no problems. Okay. So that's what's going on with my projects. Now, I got some orders out there. I've got a Warlord Games order out there that's going to have a variety of different things in it. But primarily, I ordered it for the Hungarians because I thought I needed to order some figures to fill out his Hungarian army. And that's another thing. I'm going to have to email him and find out exactly what's going on. If not, then I can just get started on that project right away if I don't need to provide any Hungarians. But if I need to provide Hungarians, I got to wait for that order to come in, which should be here any day now, really. I'm really only painting those French, waiting for that Warlord Games order to come in. Okay, so I got a Warlord order coming in. It's going to have some Napoleonics, but mostly World War II. And then I also ordered some medievals, I think. I don't remember. But that's mainly the Hungarians is really what I ordered it for. I know I ordered some Panzer Lehr units because those models were fun to paint. Okay, I also have a Gripping Beast order in. I just mentioned that with the books. But I also have an order directly from Perry, which I ordered some World War II vehicles, some 88 flak gun. I know that their vehicles are going to come in, and I think they're mostly resin. Perry does a great job on their infantry, so I don't see why they wouldn't do a great job on their vehicles. So I'm going to really take a look at those. But those are mainly going to be painted and sold on the store. I thought about ordering some Italian vehicles and stuff like that, because I know Italians are kind of the big thing right now at Warlord for bolt action. So I thought about it, and they did they offered me a bundle, but can't keep ordering these bundles. I've been ordering bundles. I can't do it because okay, this is just little insider baseball right here. Warlord has a bundle every month. Okay. And it's usually for the new releases, which is great. If I'm going to be getting in the new releases anyway, get the bundle. And if I was a brick and mortar store, I would get the bundle in and I would put it on the shelf and I would sell it, right? And people would come in. I would say, yeah, I got the new releases right here. I'm not a brick and mortar store. I'm not a high volume retail store. I am a single painter, painting models for sale and putting the models I haven't painted yet on my store. So if you want to get some fresh models that aren't painted, you can do that. But if you wait long enough, I will pull those models off of the store and I will paint them. I only paint about 30 units a month. Okay. Maybe not even that. Maybe 20 units a month. And remember, in the past, about half of those were personal. So I've changed that up now. So about 15 units is going up on the store. Well, there's usually more than 15 units in a bundle. So hypothetically, let's just say I ordered the Aztecs. That would cost me, I'm just going to say, this is not accurate, but let's just say $500. All right. So I get the Aztecs in and I paint 15 of the 20 or 30 units that come with it. And maybe I sell them, maybe I don't. People aren't necessarily super excited about the Aztecs. Maybe they are, I don't know. And let's say I make $400. And I still have a bunch of Aztecs in the box. Unpainted. New. And then the next month, they drop another set, like the British Commonwealth. Another $500. And then I paint some, I sell some, I still have some remaining, but I sell $400. So now I'm building my inventory, that's true, but I'm also losing money, right? Income versus outgoing is going down, even though my inventory is going up. That's good, that's fine. So the point I'm making is, at some point, I have to skip a month and let the inventory that I already have sell. So after about 4 months, losing about $400, I decide, okay, stop, pump the brakes, not get the new release, sell what I have. Maybe get a few models in here and there, which is what I'm doing, which is eating into the pumping the brakes. So maybe I have to pump the brakes for 2 months to break even. I'll still have the inventory, but I won't have the debt. If you get what I'm saying. So what I'm trying to say is, if I see a bundle that I can't live without, I'll get it. If I see a bundle that's the Aztecs and I can do without them and I don't want them, or if they did a Blood Red Skies bundle from Midway, or if they did a a Black Seas bundle. Ain't getting it. Now the Italians, I thought about it. I thought about getting the Italians. But I'm waiting. I'm waiting. Because they just had an open day. I don't know if you noticed a couple of months ago, they had this open day. They invited people in. One of the guys brought his camera in. He filmed a bunch of stuff. And there was a shelf of new releases, like upcoming things that are not available yet, but are getting ready to be available. In that case, there was a bunch of Italian vehicles, Italian troops and stuff like that. Some of them weren't even fully painted yet. They were just in the case to let people see what's coming. But in the very next case, I almost jizzed in my pants. There were Dutch, Belgian Napoleonics by Warlord Games. They had Dutch Jaegers, they had Dutch Militia, they had Belgian Line, they had Dutch Hussars, they had Belgian Dragoons. Everything I needed 6 months ago is in that case. So when I saw that, I was like, ooh, if that's coming out soon, I bet you they're going to have a bundle. I'm going to need to jump on that bundle, baby. Baby. I'm going to jump on that bundle. And I might have to replace some of the units I already have painted. So what that means is some units that I already have painted are going to go on the store, and then I'm going to paint up some new Warlord Games models because they looked pretty good, but I don't know that for sure. Okay, and last order, we might go over just a few minutes actually because we only got about 5 minutes. I made an order from Offensive Miniatures. It's a company I've never ordered from before. I was looking for artisan designs, right? Because they make some World War II models that I really wanted. But every time, over the last few days, every time I went to the artisan design website, it would never load. It wouldn't give me a 404 error or anything like that. It just wouldn't load. Just blank screen. So I gave up. After like 3 or 4 times, I just said, screw it. And North Star, I went to North Star Figures because they're the ones making all the Oathmark stuff. I went there and I noticed that they sold artisan designs as well. I went there, looked at them. I said, oh, these are really good figures. Great. I go back, won't load. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't get any artisan designs. Okay, so I do want to get some artisan designs, but I haven't ordered them. But I found Offensive Miniatures. And they've got these 101st, or I should say, U.S. Paratrooper bundles, $100 or whatever it was, 60 models. And I was like, 60 models, $100? That's okay. I'm okay with that. So I ordered like 2 different bundles, Germans and paratroopers and some singles here and there. So I've got a fairly sizable offensive miniature pack coming in. And when those come in, that's going to be a bunch of U.S. paratroopers for bolt action and Germans. German Grenadiers, I think. German, I don't know what they are. But so let me refresh. Let's recap that. Offensive, World War II. Warlord Games, World War II. Perry, Medievals, and World War II. Gripping Beast, the rules, and some Roman accessories. Roman, I think I got some Triarii from them. Some Triarii, some generals. I think I ordered I ordered a bunch of generals from Perry for 100 Years' War. I remember that. Okay. I don't remember. I got like a bunch of orders. They should all be coming in next few weeks. I'm going to be getting orders in. It's going to be coming in. Okay. Finally, last thing, I wanted to end this episode with a couple of announcements. This is fairly important for my channel here on eBay. Well, it is important for eBay, but it's important for YouTube and Twitter. Okay, I'm not a Twitter. I don't tweet. I'm not a twitologist. I'm not a twitaholic or whatever. I never ever use Twitter. Never. I have a Twitter account. Never use it. I don't look at it on my phone. I don't look at it on my computer. I don't do anything with it. Until a couple of days ago, I decided that I'm going to change the name of my Twitter account to emulate the store. So it's now called Wargaming in Miniature. So my Twitter is Wargaming in Miniature. I think you'll find it on there. Yeah, Twitter. I think it's Wargaming Miniature. It might be Wargaming SC. But if it's it might be Wargaming in Miniature. You should be able to find me. I'm going to use Twitter not as a tool for me to look to see what everybody's doing, even though I have subscribed to like Vallejo and Army Painter and Gripping Beast and Warlord and all these guys. That'll appear on my feed, but I don't go there to see what my friends are doing. I don't go there to see what some celebrity is doing. That's not what I'm using Twitter for. I'm going to post fairly regularly. I'm going to say every couple of days, maybe even after this video, I might take a couple of photos of these models and put them on my Twitter. I'm going to have a little bit of insider baseball on there. So behind the scenes, stuff that doesn't go up on my YouTube. Like I'm going to have little discussions, not asking for a reply. That's not what I'm saying. These are things that I want to share with you. So this is all outgoing. I'm going to show my primer. I'm going to show this. Just recently, I posted a couple of pictures of some grenadiers that I just finished. So basically, whenever I do like when I get those French done, I'll take some pictures. I'll put them up on Twitter. When I get my orders in, I might take a picture, put it on Twitter. Basically, it's going to be every couple of days, I'm going to just basically show you what's going on in the studio. So if you want to follow me on Twitter and watch what's going on in the studio, stuff that I don't really put up on YouTube, do that, and tell your friends. So that's basically just me putting information out there that you can see what's going on. Okay. I have an eBay store. eBay has done me right, and I'm not going to violate any of their agreements or anything like that. So I have a store there where I sell miniatures. They take a big cut of that. A big cut, like 10%, sometimes more. Now, it's not just a straight 10%. It's a percentage based on the sale, based on the item, based on how I list it. And so what it comes out to is about 10% of all my sales. I can live with 10%. When I owned a retail store, I used to give all of my members, because I had like this store membership. You could join our store membership and get emails or get notifications or whatever. And anybody that was on that list got a 10% discount at the store. So it comes out to about the same thing. So I'm getting charged 10% from eBay, but that's okay. Now, YouTube. Okay, I'm basically going over all my little ways you can get with me, right? Also, I've got my email. You can always drop me an email at mreverythingsc101@gmail. But I don't usually use email. I use the messaging system through like eBay or YouTube or now Twitter. I do not never ever use Facebook. So if you find me on Facebook and you like me or subscribe to me or friend me or whatever you do on Facebook, you'll never get a reply. I'm never on Facebook. I have a Facebook, and I've deleted a Facebook, and then I restarted a Facebook, and the same thing started happening. I'm getting ads and people's feeds, and millions of people are trying to become friends with me that I don't even know. And they're trying to sell me something or whatever. It just became something I don't want to get involved with. So I never ever go to Facebook. I used to never go on Twitter, but now I'm not really good. I'm using. I thought about it. I need a way to kind of just let everyone know what's going on. So join me on Twitter. You'll be able to follow me and my store. I got my eBay store, but now finally, YouTube. I love YouTube. YouTube has not really done me any problems. They've warned me about a few of my videos, but I would go through a dispute process, and I've always had it overturned because they would say, "Oh, this is inappropriate," or "This is you've used too many, used a copyright or something on these," and I would have to go back and say, "Nope, nope, no, wait up. This is the way it is." And then a few days later, they're like, "Yep, you're right. Okay." And so I've not really had any problems with YouTube. But my understanding is that, and this is not it's not a slight on YouTube, but my understanding is they're extremely strict, right? You can't say certain things on YouTube without getting banned, right? I'm surprised they even let me use the word war game because it's got the word war in it, or combat or Nazi, right? Because I paint, I can't, what if I paint a model that has a swastika on it, right? Which history, hello, they could get in there and say, "Oh, you've got a swastika on your video. We can't let you," And so I have a problem with that. Not that I'm endorsing swastikas, don't get me wrong, but they were used in World War II by the Germans, and they should be on the table. I mean, it's ridiculous. So last night I created, and this is something that's going around in the news, Rumble. I created a Rumble account where now I can start uploading videos to Rumble, but I don't have any idea how they monetize that. They mention that they have monetization, but they never asked me for any bank information or credit card information or PayPal information or nothing. So how am I supposed to? I'm looking into it. So what I'm trying to say is I'm probably going to put videos on YouTube and Rumble, just in case one or the other decides to ban me or something like that, and then I'll have an alternative. But I don't anticipate that because I'm milk toast or whatever they say. I'm very center-lined, I'm not super political, even though I am. I don't convey that on video. Okay, so Twitter, eBay, YouTube, and now Rumble. I go join all those. And also follow us, but don't only just follow us, but go ahead and hit the notification icon. So anytime I go live or, do a random video, you'll be notified when I do that. Also, this YouTube channel is not just for miniatures. It's wargaming in general. It's wargaming in miniature, but it's also, I do computer gaming as well. So if you're into that, let me know. I was putting, this is a change. I was putting like computer game videos and screenshots and stuff like that on my Twitter in the past. Not many, but I've decided to cut that out. I'm not going to do that at all. I'm going to reserve my Twitter to just miniatures and just the store. Just the miniature wargaming aspect of it, not have nothing to do with my computer gaming, but I will still do that on YouTube and Rumble. I think that's it. I think we touched all the topics. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming out and watching this Wargame Wednesday. I was going to cut out some terrain tiles and work on building up my terrain for battles, terrain boards for zones, but I'm not going to do that until I get the sword point rules in, because I've got some medieval buildings and they're going to be used in my 100 Years War battles. And that's another thing. I was going to end it, but now I got to say this because I keep realizing there's some things I wanted to say. Hail Caesar has army lists that go all the way up to a period right before the 100 Years War. So when you get to the 100 Years War and the War of the Roses, there's nothing in Hail Caesar for that period. You can download army lists that let you play 100 Years War, but it's not designed for that. And that's another reason why I thought that Sword Point was going to be great, because they had a specific book specifically for the Middle Ages. And I kind of like the way the command works in Sword Point. But I'm going to do my own tutorials, my own reviews, my own open boxings, and all that of the Sword Point rules. I'm going to go over each of the books that I get. I'm not just going to do just the rules. So I'm excited about that.